And we do teach our children to love the human and respect their individual choices. At the end of the day, each individual is accountable to God for their choices.
I'm not here saying that you have to cancel all those services. I am not here saying, I'm saying that be aware, be cognizant, okay? Don't just assume that it's Disney and because it's family friendly and it's the happiest place on earth that it's safe. No, it's not. Don't do public school. We don't do school at all, period, anymore, because there's just too much of that going on, you know? When you have a teacher literally upset about the bill in Florida saying, I don't want to have to hide my lifestyle from my students. I want to be able to share that. Like, I didn't even know my teachers' first names when I was in elementary. I just knew them as Mrs. or Mr. So-and-so. That's it. Like, I didn't know where my teachers lived. I didn't know what they did on the weekends. I didn't know anything about them. All I knew is that I walked in, Mrs., let's just say Castro was in the classroom, and she taught me. And that's it. And I only called her Mrs. Castro.
And they mattered to us, and we remember them for what they did.
They were great. They educated me. They taught me math. They taught me social studies. They taught me reading. They taught me all of these things, right? And I appreciated that, you know. They didn't teach me anything about what was going on in society. You know, they taught me history. Sure, we learned about Martin Luther King. We learned about racism. It wasn't like there's this idea that racism isn't taught and that's why CRT is necessary. No, we've learned about that. You know, we learned about sad things like the Holocaust in high school and different things like that. Like, it wasn't like that wasn't part of the curriculum and they just skated over it. But again, I didn't know what my teachers did on their off hours outside of school, and that's okay. That's how it should be. But you have teachers lamenting on TikTok and on Instagram and on Twitter how now they're going to have to hide their lifestyle. Like, it's none of their business. I mean, I read an article where a teacher said that they finally came out, and they came out to their junior high class. How terrible is that? That's not who you if that's the lifestyle you want to live, even if I disagree with it, that's your business. Go tell people in your personal life, not your junior high students. But this is what's going on in school. This is what's going on through programming on Disney. This is what's going on through programming on Netflix. This is what's programming, and they're proving it more and more because I read an article that because of the backlash over the bill, that they're going to add a homosexual kiss in the new Buzz Lightyear movie. Why is that necessary? Now, a movie that I was going to go to the theater probably to enjoy with my 6-year-old and probably my 10-year-old and probably my entire family now it's out of the picture.
Of the cards.
We're not going to go watch it. I won't support that. You know. And again, yes, as a Christian, I am not okay with that lifestyle, and I'm not saying that they have to make pro-Christian stuff. I'm just saying leave that to people's personal lives and conversations that happen organically in the lives of those people. Okay. It's not your job to educate my kids. It's not your job to force your agenda down my kids. Make stuff that entertains, make stuff that's funny, and leave it at that. Okay? But they don't want to do that, right? Because this world doesn't want to do that. Be cognizant, be aware that there is a very, very, very present agenda that is being propagated and shoved down our throats. And if you're not careful, you're going to find that your kids might be susceptible to this stuff, you know. And again, I remember one of the ladies from Disney that spoke said that she's the mother of one transgender child and one pansexual child. I'm like, wow, like really? Like, how old are your kids? And also, is it a coincidence that 2 of your kids, or if I don't even know if she has any more, are both like this? Like, no, it's not a coincidence. To me, this is child abuse, okay? Like, my kid sometimes thinks he's Sonic. I'm not going to put him outside in a cage and start feeding them animals vegetables because he thinks he's a hedgehog. It's his imagination.
Or have any changes to his body to make him Sonic.
I'm not going to like graft in
ears,
quills and paint him blue just because he thinks he's Sonic for the day. You know, like this is nonsense. This is crazy. And so we want you guys to be aware of this. We want you guys to understand that this is happening. You know, I've have warned plenty of my families and friends, like, do not watch this movie, don't do this.
Or, hey, this is what we read on it. Maybe you want to consider.
Yeah.
And so I think it understand the controversy of the topic.
This came to light, so we're having conversations about this. And I mean, honestly, if I'm going to be someone who walks in their convictions, then the end result is I can't support these companies anymore. Right. That's just going to have to be the end result, you know.
And that means disappointing our family.
And it's tough because you have kids that, you know, well, I really like Star Wars. I really like this.
Well, we've been discussing going to Disneyworld.
Yeah, I get that. I like it too.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it's not, it's the fact that when companies are vehemently opposed to what you believe in and they have no respect for what you believe in, then why should you want to have business with them? You shouldn't. That's just the reality, you know. So be aware of this stuff, guys. Have conversations, understand it, do your own research, look into this. You know, don't just assume. Don't think that it's safe just because it's an animated movie, you know, or because it's this or that. Don't think it's safe just because, well, you know, it's just kindergarten, it's just first grade. Like, that was what the whole bill in Florida was about not teaching this stuff, you know, about sexual orientation and all this stuff from the grades of kindergarten to third grade. And people are mad about that. Like, think about that. Like, the mind of a 5, 6, 7-year-old is far different than the mind of a 10, 11, 12-year-old, you know? So I can't have a conversation with my 6-year-old about transgenderism like I can with my teenager.
And we do have the conversations.
Yeah, we do have the conversations, but they're different. But I want them monitored. I don't want some teacher with an agenda. Clearly, a lot of teachers out there have the agenda to do that, you know?
And the beauty of talking about these things, because we do talk to our children, we do have family and friends that are homosexual or have made the decisions, you know, as far as their lifestyle goes. We don't not love these choices, these people. We don't love the choices, but we still love the human. And we do teach our children to love the human and respect their individual choices. At the end of the day, they, as an individual, each individual is accountable to God for their choices. But there's beauty in sharing and discussing these things as a family, making sure that they understand we are trying to be as up to date with what's going on in the world, and also in our home. But talking with your own children and your spouse about current events, you speak about it once, and then the beautiful thing that happens is over time, because they come back and they ask another question and another question, and you are able to see, you know, God working in their own hearts. But there's the relationship side of things, and there should never be anybody that is closer to your children or your spouse than your own home and your own household. It should never be a teacher. It should never be a youth pastor. It should be your own home. And I think that us kind of reeling things in and evaluating every single decision, the heart of the matter is to make sure that we are living a God-honoring, accountable life. And far too often we have removed God, even Christian folks, we've removed God from the equation because it's convenient. And we're going to be held accountable for that.
Yeah.
So we are our children's first teacher.
Yeah. And
so it should be a heavy charge, Christian families.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough because, you know, like it affects my kids. It affects me. I go watch every Marvel movie. I go watch every, you know, Star Wars movie. That's always been me. And
we legit are ready to go to Disney World this year.
And I have to make some decisions, you know. So anyway, guys, be smart, be wise, you know, look it up, and don't be afraid to unplug.
Yeah.